Well, it's been almost exactly 48 hours since I put this small silage bale out here, and they have ate it completely down, haven't you? Now you can see there's still wasted silage here on the ground, but the cradle's empty. Guess I'll see if I can get this feeder out of the way. Maybe you guys can get underneath there. Oh man. Whoa. Look out, Ellie. So I'll wait and see if they clean us up a little bit today. And I'll bring them another silage bale tomorrow. But they definitely ate that one quicker. It was a smaller bale, but they ate it quicker than normal. And we do have a bull and a bull calf here. So we got a couple more animals eating the silage, so that's probably helping it out. So today the plan is to work inside of the workshop because it's supposed to rain. And it hasn't started yet, but I'm probably gonna end up starting to fabricate some feed troughs. I also have some gates that I need to weld some wire panels on. But since it hasn't started to rain yet, I thought I'd start out here in the woodshed, see if I can split up a little bit more firewood and get this tote filled up the rest of the way. That was probably only like 10 minutes, but at least I got that one filled up. So next time I have a tractor out here, I can go ahead and move this tote and put another one in its place. So all the trash off the log splitter burnt better than I thought it did. It all burned up except for what's around the edge. You can see it didn't spread anywhere because the ground is just too wet. But you burn down one compost bin, catch it on fire. Nobody trusts you anymore when you talk about burning things. Go figure. Well, it looks like it's just starting to rain, so perfect timing. Let's go inside and work. Well, maybe I got it over too far. I need an 8-foot straight edge here, at least 8 feet long. There we go. All right, sawhorses are clear. We shouldn't cut into them. Well, you can definitely hear the rain now. It was louder just a couple minutes ago. It's died down a little bit, but it's pretty loud in here when it rains, especially since there's no ceiling in here. There is like insulation right under the roof. That quiets it down a little bit, but it's still pretty loud. It is loud in here. All right, I cut this into 2 pieces. So this one is a 16-inch wide piece, and this other one is 32 inches wide. I'm gonna try to make this one into a feed trough for the sheep, and I'm gonna try to make that one into one for the cows. So I used the plasma cutter to cut a line in this where we're gonna bend it. So I didn't cut it all the way through. I left like a 1/2 inch right here on the end, and then every 2 feet, I left about a 1/2 inch connected. So we got a total of 5 places where it's still held on, and we're gonna do a total of 4 bends on here. So I've got 3 more of these lines to cut out. All right, I've got all of the dross knocked off of it, all of the rust knocked off, and I think this side looks better, so I think we'll make this the inside of the feed trough. But doing all that plasma cutting and the angle grinder just makes this whole place dusty. So I open the garage doors up and trying to get it to air out in here, that's for sure. There at the end, I end up putting the same mask, half mask that I wear in the paint booth, and I probably should wear that when I plasma cut and do all that anyway, because it is a dusty mess. Excuse me. See, I'm even sneezing now. So I'm going to go ahead and start bending this on the lines. I'm going to try for a 45-degree angle on each one of these bends. So with only a 1/2 inch connected every couple feet, I'm able to hand bend this one. Long enough I can get enough leverage on this. All right, I've got all the bends within like 2 degrees of where they should be. So this is the rough shape of our 8-foot feed trough. So the sheet metal that I'm using for this is 1/8 inch thick. It's pretty heavy duty. And I've got a little bit more over here. And what I need to do is I need to draw out on here the exact shape of the end of the feed trough, and I want to cut out 2 of those, and we're basically making end caps for it, and they're going to fit like right here on this end and the other end, and that'll box this all in, and that'll pretty much finish the shape of the actual trough. Of course, this is probably too heavy. Oh, I got it. I don't know if I'll get it back up there. I really need somewhere to put this. All right, I got both of the end caps tack welded on the feed trough, and I also cut out this corner, I don't know if you'll be able to tell it, just a little bit on each end, and that is to let any water or anything in the feed trough be able to drain out in those corners. So I'm pretty happy with the way the feed trough looks so far, so I'm gonna go ahead and weld out the end caps on both ends, and then these cut lines down here in the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and like weld these back out and strengthen up that corner. And I guess I'll probably end up doing the sides as well. That's kind of the downside of using a plasma cutter like this, to be able to bend the metal, because you do end up, you end up with voids. And if you want to strengthen that back up, you add a lot more welding to the project. All right, I got both ends fully welded out. We still left our holes in the corners for it to drain. And then we've got it welded here at the bottom, all the way down on both sides. And just having the bottom welded there, ooh, pops. It's stiffened it up quite a bit. And I got done just in time because I just ran out of welding gas. So I need to go exchange this out. And I also need to buy some steel square tubing, because that's what I'm gonna make the frame out of. It's gonna go, it'll be a frame that'll go around the top of this. It'll come down and be the legs. And there'll also be a frame that's like up underneath to really strengthen this whole thing up. So I'm gonna have to go run and go get those things before I can continue on with this project. So it's 4 hours later now, and I just got back with some 1.5 inch square tube. And when you buy steel like this, it typically comes in either a 20-foot or a 24-foot long length. And these are 24-foot long pieces of square tube. And my trailer's only 16-foot long. So what I typically have them do, I think they'll do one cut for free. So I've had them cut off the end, and I've got 4 pieces here that are 8.5 foot long, and then what was left is the 4 pieces that are 15.5. And these pieces of steel here need to be cleaned off. They have something on them to help keep them from rusting, and it's kind of greasy. So I'm just going to clean them off now before I even bring them in the shop. So I'm just going to use some lacquer thinner and some rags, and it should clean them up. This is a step I wish I didn't have to do. I wish these weren't coated in this greasy stuff. I'm freezing my hands off trying to do this. All right, there you go, 1 8-foot piece. You can see how dirty it is. Well, I can't do that anymore. This metal is freezing cold. I'll let it warm up in the shop. I'll clean the rest of it up in a little while, or another day. So the place I bought this off of, I think the previous owner, he's, from what I understand, kept it on the floor. So then they would pour all this stuff on it to keep it from rusting. So I don't think it's the new owner's fault. £1,900. So while I was out, I also went to the home improvement store and I got the outlet covers for the wall over here. That was like the most common comment, probably like every 3 comments, it seemed like every 5, was something about the outlet covers. Of course, it's like a 4-hour trip for me to go to a home improvement store and get this kind of stuff. So just have to wait for the right day where I can do 2 or 3 things at the same time. So over the last, I think like 5 days now, I have been painting the Allis Chalmers rims every morning. That's like an 1.5-hour process to mix up the paint, clean up, all that stuff. And everything was going well till yesterday. I mixed the paint up, and I mixed it up when I thinned it for the spray paint gun. I did the wrong ratio. Paint ended up being too thick. So when it sprayed out, it went on thick, and then it started running, and it was like running down the inside of the rims and running down, and I wasn't for sure what to do. It was kind of puddling up and running. It looked bad. So first thing I tried is I tried a paper towel to try to just like absorb and soak up some of that extra paint where it was kind of pooling at the bottom of the rim. That looked bad. So then I got a brush, and I just started wiping out the runs, and I tried to spread those runs out and wipe them, and that actually seemed to work fairly well. But it wasn't perfect, right? So today I had to put a third coat of the final paint on there, and I think the rims are good enough. We'll go take a look. So the paint on the rims is actually like a silver, like metallic paint. It had a bunch of like metallic flakes in it and stuff to look silver like this. And all of that paint was like running down the tire, or would run this direction. And this tire is the one that looks the best. I just used the paintbrush on it. I don't think you're gonna be able to see it. I can see it with my eye. There's a little bit of run right in here, and I had to brush through here, but I think it actually doesn't look too bad considering. Now this rim, it was pooled up right here, and I tried to absorb it with a paper towel, so it actually looks a little bit rough. I can still see it. It's a little bit rough right through here, but I ran the paintbrush and took out drips along the sides and everything. And overall, I mean, when I look at it naked eye, I can actually still see some of like the brush strokes, but overall I think it's good enough. And I put that last coat on this morning, and I'll probably take these out of the paint booth probably tomorrow, but I'll let them stay here inside the shop where it's warm. I'll let them cure for like another day or so. And when the tires are out of the paint booth, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take it down, put it away, and I'm gonna start working on the Allis Chalmers. It's gonna free up enough space in there where I can start putting the back half of it back together again. I wanna get it back on the tires, off the jack stands, where I can actually move the tractor and get it rolled through this garage door into this space here where we can continue to work on it in the garage part. And of course that'll free up space in there where I can start getting the woodworking shop arranged and start to make Rebecca's bookshelves. I know that's a very common comment as well. Everybody wants to know when I'm doing the bookshelves. So I'm working in that direction. So I've got one more thing to mention. Next week on February 13th and 14th, I will be down at Louisville, Kentucky at the National Farm Machinery Show. This will be the 4th year that I've gone down there, and I'll be walking around checking out the show, but I'll probably hang out at the TYM tractor booth between 1 and 3 on Thursday and Friday. So if you're at the show, just stop by the TYM booth and say hi if you're out there. Well, hopefully you guys can tell that the sun is down. It is getting dark outside. And Rebecca, I heard her leave a minute ago. She went to go do the chores without me. So I think I'm gonna run out there and check on her, make sure everything's going good. But I think that's it for today's video, guys. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.